What's up, everybody? I got a new build here that I've been playing with the last couple of days, and I'm actually really enjoying it. It is a 4-piece Sentries, 2-piece Tacticians build. My DPS, as you can see, is 184k, just under 370k toughness, and just over 40k skill power. 370k toughness is about 92,000 life, a little bit over that. And it seems like it's a really low life, but honestly I haven't had that much issues, especially in the PvP, with this much life. Primarily I'll show you why, which is because of Smartcover. But NPCs you notice a bit more if you're not in Smartcover, but really it's not too bad. I was surprised by that. My gear, let me show you that. My gear here, 4-piece Sentries, 2-piece Tacticians. Doesn't really matter where you put the 2 pieces. You just want to use 2 pieces of your best Tacticians somewhere and 4 pieces of your best Sentries somewhere. I have just enough. I'm actually about 100 over. I've got just enough firearms for my guns to unlock Brutal on my Vector for free, or Deadly. It's 2063 firearms that I need to unlock Deadly, and Brutal is free on this gun. And it also has Predatory, so this is actually really nice for killing NPCs. If you didn't know, Predatory is 13.5% health of whatever you just killed. So NPCs you get usually like half to a full health bar, or I mean full heal, not just a bar, but all of your health. And it's quite nice. The other gun I use is this first wave M1A. It has Swift, Cool-Headed, and Skilled. Skilled is free on this, so I don't need the electronics to unlock it, which would actually require one more piece of electronics. And I have just enough to unlock Cool-Headed, which is really, really nice. Cool-Headed is performing a headshot, reduces all skill cooldowns by 6%, and it's basically like a triage every time you shoot something in the head. I could use this M1A, which has higher headshot damage and has Brutal. It's actually Brutal, Balance, and Skilled. And I did try the build out with this and unlocking Skilled, but it actually put my health down into the high 70,000s. And that was just too low for me. It did put my skill power up to 45,000, but just wasn't worth it. And I really enjoy the Cool-Headed. I did miss out on a bit of damage, but it's hardly noticeable, especially when you're running 3-piece Sentries and you're marking things and you're in really strong Smartcover, which is the real basis of this build. Now, I'll show you the gear that I chose. I'm using a two-socket Sentries chest, obviously with armor. It's got a real high armor roll on it. And actually, it's not that high of an armor roll. It's okay. But I've got a firearms skill power mod and a firearms armor mod. These are the 2 firearms mods that I use, and the only piece of firearms gear that I use, I believe. And that puts me up to 2172 firearms. I might have another firearms piece. I don't think so, though. No, that's the only firearms piece that I have. My mask, I'm running Stamina Mask with a electronics armor mod. It's a pretty bad one. I definitely need a better one, but it gets the job done. And I've used this set for 2 days now, and I'm really enjoying it. This mask could be better. It's missing over 100 stamina, but it's the best mask that I have. I could switch up with a Tactician's mask, which would mean then I'd need to replace one of my other Tactician's pieces with a Sentry's piece, and it's just not looking like that's going to happen. So it's got skill power, really important. I know on my other builds I run 2 mod slots on my mask, but for this build you really need that extra skill power. I've got over 5,000 on that, and nothing really important on the skill attributes or minor attributes. My knee pads are Tactician's knee pads. Got 2 pairs, actually. This isn't the other pair. This one's one that I just found. I wear this pair here, 653 stamina, 20% crit hit damage, and a mod slot. It's really important to have crit hit damage on your knee pads and a mod slot. If you're lacking in armor, you could have that mod slot be armor instead, but I don't recommend that unless you really, really need the armor. But this one also has a electronic skill power mod. It's a pretty nice version of an an electronic skill power mod. And yeah, it's okay armor. Could be better. Like this. Actually, all these are kind of low armor, but yeah, it's not too bad. Okay piece. We've got a Sentry's Call backpack. This is a really nice Sentry's Call backpack. This is used in pretty much every build of mine. 669 stamina, almost max main stat or max skill power, which is 6,731 here. It's got ammo capacity and pulse critical hit damage, which is quite nice if you're running a pulse. I don't run a pulse personally, but I could always just change my build and instead of running Smartcover, run pulse. And this here is slotted with a electronics armor mod. Again, a really bad one. I haven't crafted any electronics mods, and I'm not going to do so. These are good enough for now. I'm going to wait until 1.3 until I craft any more mods or anything like that. Next up is my Tactician's gloves. These rolled a very good armor, 501 base armor, but unfortunately really low electronics. I have not re-rolled these gloves yet because I can't decide what I want to do with them. They rolled amazing. They've got 6.5 crit chance, 38% crit damage, and assault rifle damage. I don't use an assault rifle with this build. I primarily use my M1A, which is a marksman rifle, and I use Smartcover. So this 3% Smartcover damage increase is quite nice. This actually helps me get to the damage cap of Smartcover without actually needing more electronics, which is real nice. The downside is that it's a really low electronics roll, so I've considered rolling the assault rifle damage into marksman rifle or SMG damage, preferably marksman rifle with this build, or I could roll the electronics higher, or I could roll the electronics into stamina. And this is the reason I haven't rolled it, because if I roll the electronics into stamina, I wouldn't do that now, but if I find another piece of gear, like a Tactician's knee pads, that are better than these, that roll electronics, I could always change that around. So I don't really know. It's kind of up in the air right now. It really sucks that I'm missing over 100 main stat on the electronics there. It looks like my gear just bugged out. Now I have 0 armor and low skill power and toughness. Let's see if switching my knee pads fixes that. It looks like it kind of did. Last thing, I actually found this today. I found 2 upgraded Sentry's holsters from the one that I've been using for quite a while. These are the 2 best holsters I've found. This one here is only 10 armor away from complete max armor. You can get 508 base armor and 508 additional armor as a major attribute on your holster. And this one rolled really good. 1,006 armor total. Main stats all really high. It kind of had some lower stamina, I believe, on this, and I re-rolled the stamina to get it a little bit higher. And it even has smart cover duration, which isn't the greatest, but it's a couple of extra seconds of smart cover for you. I think it's 2 or 3 seconds. People were telling me to roll the smart cover to pulse, but I never pulsed, so it didn't really help me that much. So I just re-rolled the stamina and got a little bit higher stamina. And then I found this one today, another really nice one. It's got good enough main stats all around, and I could re-roll this skill to whatever I'm going to do. So I'm probably going to hold on to this holster here as the ability to re-roll it to whatever skill I want. And then there's my old holster that just got replaced pretty much all around, 626, 639, 669. I think this is pretty much better in all aspects other than the electronics there. But this one's really awesome, really happy about that. And that does it for my gear here. I also run a pistol with cool-headed. This is a first wave PF45. It's real nice, 24 round mag with cool-headed on it. Performing a headshot reduces all skill cooldowns by 5%. I never really use it, but it's pretty sweet that I have cool-headed on it. It's only a 163. It's not meant for doing damage, but definitely useful if you pull it out and want to get your skill cooldowns back real quick, and you can mark things at the same time. So definitely the fastest way to mark enemies. Sometimes if we're PvPing and there's a group that's just wanting to run around in circles like little flies above your head and pester you and make it hard for you to deal damage to them, I'll actually pull my pistol out and try to get some marks on them. And once one of them gets marked 3 stacks, we try to focus that guy, and that helps a lot. So the pistol does come in use with this build. As far as skills and talents go, as you can see right now, let me show you my DPS. It's 184,000, but when I pop my smart cover, my DPS jumps up to 275,000. So I'm gaining 90,000 DPS from my smart cover. And even though I have low health, I do not feel squishy at all when I'm in my smart cover. And the reason why is my smart cover is adding 65% damage resistance and 49.6% damage buff. The cap on damage is 50%, so I'm only 0.4 away from being capped out on my damage buff, which is quite nice. So I don't need any more skill power to increase my damage. However, I would like to get some better pieces of gear that have smart cover damage resistance on them, like on my backpack or wherever it can roll. I'm not even certain where it can roll. I think gloves and backpack. I'm not sure, to be honest. It's something I'd have to look into, but I'm certain it can roll on your backpack smart cover damage resistance, and try to get that up to like 70 or 75. That'd be real nice. But 65 is really good. And even though my DPS is lower and my toughness is lower, I actually feel stronger in this build than I do in my typical builds, where I have quite a bit more health and more DPS, but my smart cover is not nearly as strong. So not only is it benefiting me, it's giving my teammates this as well. And if you didn't know, smart cover, the master mod for it, gives you smart cover for 5 seconds after you leave the cover. It extends it for a period of time after leaving cover, so you can pop smart cover and then you can get out of smart cover, and your DPS and toughness is like that for 5 seconds. You can see the buff in your little bottom slot, and it's really awesome. So what this does is changes my headshots. Let's get some Sentry stacks up and get a crit. My crit's really low, unfortunately. I haven't crit once. Wow. There we go, 392. And then when I'm in smart cover, 563. So that adds quite a bit. I can't believe it took that long to crit. I wonder what my crit chance is with this gun without a pulse. I pretty much depend on pulses. 21%. Actually, I just got really, really unlucky, honestly. I cannot believe that I shot that many times and didn't crit. 21% is not that low. I mean, I could get 7 more or 8 more on my magazine, bringing that up to 28 or 29, but then I would either drop my weapon damage or I would drop my mag size. That is an option. I've considered it, but in PvP, having that mag size seems to be really beneficial. In PvE, it's not so big of a deal, especially with one is none. But the other talent that I run is obviously first aid self-heal, or first aid overdose, giving me that overheal, and it's quite nice. I only need to tick once and I get my full heal. It's when you pop it on yourself, it ticks twice, so I'm getting 150,000 heal, and my total health is only 90,000. So when I pop this on myself, it will bring me from full dead to fully overhealed instantly if I pop it on myself. Quite nice. So I can be almost dead, pop it, and I've got a full overheal, which is real convenient in PvP fights, having such a strong heal. Healing for 150,000 health just instantly like that, and 75,000 whenever you walk into it. I usually run damage tack, and the reason I run that is because I have skilled on my gun. So I can pop my damage tack, which adds 50% damage and 20% crit chance. I can pop this pretty much every time we engage NPCs or when we're PvPing. But I'll pop this at Midtown. We'll kill everything, and I will actually usually have, depending on if I get the final headshot, which I try to do, I will have my my signature skill back pretty much before it's done. I've had times when the tac scan is still up and I've already got my signature skill back because of the skilled talent on my gun. It's absolutely amazing to have on a build like this. Headshot kills with this weapon increase signature skill resources by 11.5. Really amazing. There is different options with smart cover. You can run concealment. This is nice because it lasts 30 seconds, well 32.4 with my extended time. The only downside is it only has a 6-meter range, where you shoot it on the ground, 6-meter range around. Now recharger is quite nice. So what concealment does is it will hide you from pulses and prevent you from being pulsed. It will also pulse enemies that you shoot, but I tested it, doesn't add any extra damage, unfortunately. It just shows them. I don't know if it's supposed to actually give you a nice little mini pulse and increase your damage like the talent does, but it does not. The next one that you can use is recharger. This one's quite nice. It does give you some health regen and cooldown regen. This is nice because it's got an 8-meter effective range, but the downside of this is it lasts only 20 seconds, 21.6 with my extended time, which is definitely noticeable. 20 seconds is pretty slow on recharger, but I have enough skill cooldowns, especially with cool-headed and being in this, that I can pop it back up again. However, in PvP fights, having it go down every 20 seconds kind of sucks. Now, this one's usually the best one for PvP, this one or concealment. If you have people rushing up to you and trying to take cover near you or any of that, Trapper is the one you want to use. Now, Trapper gives you the damage resistance and the damage buff, but also makes them, if they're in the cover, it makes them deal less damage and makes them increase damage. So it makes them take even more. It's really, really nice. If someone gets into your Trapper, man, it sucks for them. I must say. I've noticed if they pop into my Trapper and I'm in my own cover, they are screwed. But usually people aren't that stupid that they get into your own smart cover. But what works really good is if you got a PvP team that you're fighting and they have smart cover up, what you can do is shoot Trapper at theirs and then pop into your smart cover, and yours is going to be stronger than theirs because you're making them take more damage, you're making them deal less damage, and you're still getting the full benefit of yours. You don't actually have to have them in it to gain the benefit. You just have to be in it. But if they're in it as well, then they're just really screwed. Those are the 3 different mods. They're all really good on smart cover. You can always switch to pulse if you're into pulsing. My pulse is really strong, 38.8% crit chance and 87% crit damage. I really only need one more thing of pulse and I'm nearly capped out at the crit damage, which is 100%. Some people, the guy that actually turned me onto this build, doesn't even run a heal. He runs pulse and smart cover, and this is quite nice, especially if I was to get pulse like on my holster. I'd have a 95% crit damage pulse with almost a 40% crit chance, as well as my smart cover. But then you have to depend on your teammates for healing, and that's not always the best thing, especially if you die and you got to get back to them and there's NPCs in the way. It can be really, really, really bad, especially having low life. So I tried it like that, and I didn't like it. I didn't like depending on my teammates for my heals. So I would actually rather run 2 people in your squad with this build and have one on pulse and one on smart cover so that everyone can have heals. And maybe the one that's on pulse could run 2 pieces of tacticians, or 3 pieces actually. This is what I would prefer. If I was a pulser, I would run 3-piece tacticians for the haste, so you can have your pulse up more often. Then I would run a vigorous chest with booster shot. That way you can overheal your teammates, give them the extra damage percent and the damage reduction. And since you have high skill power, it'll still be a strong heal. And you could also run savage gloves. So I would run a 3-piece tacticians, vigorous, and savage with that set, and that would be really, really nice. My talents for this build are a little bit different than usual. Since I depend on my smart cover being up because I'm fairly squishy without it, I took off combat medic and have had all my teammates also take off combat medic. Kind of sucks because your heals are not as strong with your med kits, but as long as you play smart, you shouldn't have to depend on a very strong med kit to survive, and it will never kill your smart cover. If you didn't know, combat medic blows your smart cover up, which can be really bad. Really, really hate when that happens. But I run triage, obviously, for my skill cooldowns when I walk into them or my teammates walk into my heals. I run critical save. using a med kit during low health increases your damage resistance by 40% for 10 seconds. Another thing to keep in mind with this here, if you're using any sort of healing, whether you're in Smartcover Recharger that gives you the passive heal, or you're using regular heal, a med kit, or even something like self-preserve that heals you on crits, if you're in that bottom health segment, it doesn't pop in until you're in your last health segment, you will actually increase your damage resistance by 40%, which is really, really nice. So maybe I could show that after I go over my other ones here. Throw some grenades at my feet and pop in a Smartcover and watch it pop my critical save and give me that damage resistance. It's really, really cool that it works with other heals other than just med kits. Then I have started using steady hands again. I didn't know what to use instead of combat medic. One of the options is adrenaline. Another one is tech support, which extends your active skills out. Didn't really get much of a benefit from that. It's kind of cool, but not necessary. My skill cooldowns are good enough, especially with cool-headed. Adrenaline's cool, but it's really kind of not that great. If you're not taking damage while you use it, you will get a full overheal, and it's amazing. But if you use it and you take any damage, it won't actually heal you from low health to fully overhealed. Not that awesome. And especially if you don't have combat medic on at the same time, adrenaline's just not that great. And of course I use one is none with this build. With the marksman rifle, one is none is amazing. And let me just show you what steady hands does real quick. This is my default recoil pattern. Let me just shoot at the wall. I'm not gonna fix my recoil at all. I'm gonna here, let's do a reload. I'm gonna fire and let my my reticle close and then fire again for the whole mag. As you can see, there is some horizontal recoil. Moves over to the right quite a bit. That's just what the M1A does. And it's moving up. But now check the same thing out when I use steady hands. Pop in there for 10 seconds. As you can see, there is no vertical recoil. I'm not changing my mouse at all. There's still the horizontal recoil, but there's less than half the amount of vertical recoil. So what this lets you do is really just adjust your mouse and move it to the left. I do have one horizontal recoil mod on here, but it's really, really awesome for landing consecutive headshots, not having to pull your reticle down. And I love it. It's really, really nice having this steady hands with this Sentry's 4-piece. So I'm going to leave it like that for a while, and since I'm always using Smartcover, I love it. But I think that's everything. I'm going to try doing this whole grenade thing and see if I can demonstrate how. Alright, sweet. We got one health bar. Now we're going to pop into Smartcover. And, oh, it's the wrong Smartcover. Crap. That's not cool. Let's see here. We need to change to the other Smartcover and see if this works. I've never tested it out with this. That's the wrong thing. But I've been told it works, and I'm going to test it out right now. Resupplier grenades. And switch this Smartcover to Recharger. And then kill myself again. And see if we can pop critical save from the heals. Hopefully I'm bleeding. Okay, I'm bleeding. Alright, let's see. And boom, there's the critical save. You can see the bottom left thing for 10 seconds. The little med station little symbol there. That is this right here. It did work. So I think I'm going to start running that from now on, because if I ever do get almost killed, all of a sudden, it will just instantly pop that and you have 40% damage reduction. And that's amazing. I didn't really even factor that in to running Recharger, but this is critical save. So once you get down to your last health bar, you have 40% damage resistance on top of your damage resistance that you already have from Smartcover. And that is really OP. So I think I'm going to start running, even though it's only a 20-second Smartcover, I think I'm going to start running that just because of critical save. That 40% is, that's huge. Let's see how fast it heals me. Oh, I'm bleeding, so it's kind of not having a good time. But I think I can pop back in and get critical save again. Not quick enough. But doesn't seem to be healing me very fast. But it's pretty cool. Definitely worth using because of that critical save. So hopefully you guys like this build. I hope I didn't miss anything. Went over everything. I'm really enjoying the build. Again, 185 or 184k DPS, 370k toughness, 40k skill power, and I'm loving it. So I'm gonna stick with this for the next couple days at least, and keep giving it a try and seeing how much I like it. I'm not sure what I'm gonna be running in 1.3, but stay tuned, and I'm sure you'll see a video of my 1.3 builds. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, the YouTube channel or Twitch channel, which costs money though. But see you guys around. Thanks for watching.